Debonair. Okay. What's good, y'all? Shout out to Notification Gang for hitting the like button. And Phil didn't even start yet. Y'all are the ones in it. I appreciate you anyway. I had somebody send this to me on TikTok, and I thought it was a pretty interesting, first of all, title and topic in general, right? I thought it was interesting mainly because there's something here. Hold on one second. Buena mija. Stop bashing Dominican men. Not all are the same. Look how many men from other race are killing women. Okay, all right. Shout out to Paola. Obviously she's Dominican, who says that she refuses to date Dominican men. Now, I found this to be interesting, honestly, in my opinion, mainly because this is kind of the same for us. Excuse me. This is kind of the same for us. And I always say that, yo, listen, when you hear a black woman say, yo, I don't date black men because of ABC 1, 2, 3, I'm going to go to Dominican, I'm going to go to Asian, I'm going to go to Caucasian, I'm going to go to whoever. You're going to other races, and other races of men and women, like the other races of men don't have their problems either. Case in point, this video. So here we have a Dominican woman who refuses to date Dominican men. She will date any and everybody but Dominican men. That's what she said in a lot of her TikTok videos. And stuff like that. But shout out to the person that sent this to me. Let's get into it, man, because I cannot wait to hear why she doesn't want to date Dominican men.
I said, as a Dominican woman, that I'm not going to date any more Dominican men. Okay? And I got so many comments just like this one. And it's just an example of all the gaslighting. Just because not all Dominicans cheat, and there are really good Dominican men out there, does not mean that it's not embedded in the culture. I'm very much aware that it's not every Dominican man, and that's why I put it on there, right? And the fact that I can literally count all the good Dominican men that I know and all the good Dominican relationships that I know versus the countless ones that are bad and terrible and were disastrous, that information alone for me is enough to take that decision. And I own my decision. I know what.
Hold on, she flashed something. When y'all put something on screen, leave it there for like at least about 10 seconds, man. Y'all be putting it up for 1 second and then letting it go. A decision that I took not from a lack of trying. Okay, so real quick, since I paused it. She's not really answering the question as to why. She's just saying, oh, I can count on my finger how many good relationships and this out there. Like, go into details. Talk about stuff that you've went through. You can talk about things that you've seen other people go through. That's cool. That's fine. I do that also too. But also tie that in with the things that I've experienced negatively within my, experiences of dating black women or doing this or doing that. But let's keep going.
My decision. I know what's good for me and what I need to do for me, at least at the moment. Okay, so ladies, because so many of you guys agreed with me, when you make a decision for yourself and it's for your betterment, whether it's physical, mental, whatever the case may be, your reasoning, it doesn't even matter what your reasoning is. When you make this decision, don't let anybody gaslight you, because your reason is valid. But regardless, thank you for bringing this point up, because I think it's important that we talk about it, especially for all of those who are saying that it's not embedded in our culture. Bueno, mija, stop bashing Dominican men. Well, first of all, you and I are both Dominican. We know exactly what it sounds like when a woman is bashing a man. And I didn't bash you guys. I didn't. So, not all are the same. I'm aware. I said it. Look how many men from other races are killing women. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at the femicide rates. Also, article was released in 2022, a few months ago. Hold
on, let's read this. Hold on, she coming through with some receipts.
A few months.
Let me run this back a little bit. Highest femicide rates in Latin America are seen in Honduras, 4.6 cases for every 100,000 women. Dominican Republic, 2.7 cases for every 100,000 women. El Salvador, 2.4 cases for every 100,000 women. Bolivia, 1.8 cases for every 100,000 women. And Brazil, 1.7 cases for every 100,000 women. This says at least 4,400 women were victims of femicide in Latin America. Oh, wow.
Also, article was released in 2022, a few months ago. Latin America, Honduras coming in number 1. And what do we have here? The Dominican Republic coming in at number 2. I'm aware that cheating happens in all races, all ethnicities, all cultures, all around the world. However, there are certain issues that are more prevalent in certain cultures than in others. It is not tens across the boards. You don't see every single country with the same exact rate. We're number 2 in all of Latin America. And you want to say that it's not a cultural thing, that it's the same everywhere? So you can gaslight me all you want. You can't gaslight numbers, boo. And this is not.
And to her point, right, real quick, because I mean, I was not expecting all this. I'm just thinking that she was going to talk about like dating, but all right, let's get into it. People hurt people that's in their closest proximity, man. That's everywhere. That's why I laugh when you have people like Fox News and the Trump supporters and all this, that, and the third. One of their first go-to moves or the first thing they want to pull out their goddamn pocket is, oh, black on black crime. But here you see here, Latin on Latin crime in the Latin America is number 1. Why is that? Because obviously the people live closest to each other who are Honduras people. You're not going to see white on Honduras crime number 1 in Honduras. You're not going to see black on black crime highest in Honduras as number 1. You're not going to see those types of things. Obviously, why? Because people hurt people in their closest proximity. That's all it's about. That's all it's ever been about. That's why I laugh when these people pull out these types of statistics, quote unquote, in America, but only pulling it from a city where it's 99% black, and then comparing it to 100% of Americans. It makes no sense. Obviously, the numbers are going to be damn skewed. Obviously. But ma'am, yes, to answer your question, that's the reason why. It's unfortunate. This is not by no way, shape, or form me justifying why these types of things are happening. Number 1, let me say that. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying why you see these types of things. That's what I am saying. That's why I'm saying that. But let's keep going, because I mean, hey, she ain't missed yet. This video is kind of long, and it's 2-parter too. I got another part that's coming up after this.
Not even including the Dominican men that like having sex with other Dominican men, but haven't officially accepted their own homosexuality, so they go and unalive the men that are actually living in their truth. Innocent, usually young men. Those lost lives are not included in this. So if you ignorantly want to continue to gaslight these numbers while simultaneously listening to Mo, which embellishes in that supposed culture that you say does not exist, we're going to continue to land in second place because we're never going to address the issues. And I'm not okay with second place in this category. Are you? Go to part 2.
Escape with Paola. Shout out to her. So part 2. Listen, you're not wrong, ma'am. I'm just trying to understand what the purpose of this video is, because whether you're number 1 or number 2 or number 8, the numbers are still going to be high regardless, and it's a chance, a probability of it happening when you're dating men that's in your proximity, which happens to be Dominican men. If I'm dating women in my closest proximity, well, now I have more of a mixture. But back when I was living in the hood, the majority of the women that was in my proximity were black women. And for the black women, the men that was in their closest proximity was black men. So obviously the domestic violence, the crimes, the robberies, the killings, all those things, it's going to be higher in those types of locations. I'm over here thinking this video was about to be about how Dominican men cheated more than any other men or somebody. I'm like, okay, well, let's hear it. But she went completely like, damn, okay, all right. Yeah, let's hurry up and get through this.
For Dominican people. If you're not Dominican, this is not for you. So, part 2. So when I said that cheating and misogyny and all of that is part of the culture, it's embedded in the culture in the dating world with Dominicans, the most common response was, not all Dominicans, not all Dominicans. And like I put in part 1, I'm aware. So I have a friend from England who married a Dominican woman, right? And a few weeks ago, was just catching up. I'm like, hey, how's the family? They had a child. They're actually going through a divorce. And I'm like, oh no, what happened? He's like, oh, she was just looking for her papers. As soon as she got her paper and that process finished, she left, she took his kid and took money as well. And he's like, Paola, I'm never dating another Dominican woman again. And you know what? I absolutely get it. The man's traumatized. And that's only from one relationship. Unlike me and so many other Dominican women that have been traumatized from the very get-go, right? Seeing trauma and issues unfold because of this from their dads, from their uncles, from their cousins. I live half of the year in the Dominican Republic, and when I go and hang out with my friends, I literally cannot keep up with who's doing what and who's doing this with who. Like, I see it everywhere. And that's not even naming any of the exes. So when I have a whole lifetime of trauma, even though his is only one, I can still validate his pain. It does not invalidate me as a Dominican woman. Ain't got nothing to do with me, because I'm not a chapeadora. And I can still acknowledge it as an issue, as a problem.
That's fair. That's completely fair. And that's one of the main reasons why when I hear Black women say, yo, I would never date a Black man because of da 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 da, I kind of sympathize with them. My problem is, again, I said this many times, my problem is when Black women say this about Black men or Black men say this about Black women, when they start talking down on them, as in we as a majority. So I can agree with what she says, and I sympathize, just like she said, with my Black women that says stuff like this about Black men, or Black men that says stuff like this about Black women. I sympathize with them because me being a Black man, dating only Black women, majority of my hurt and trauma have come from Black women. So I get it. With that being said, I sit there, I heal, and I get my mental healing. I do whatever I got to do to better protect myself in the future. So when these types of things, God forbid, if they happen again, I know what to do and where I should go, right? But a lot of people don't have those types of outlets or venting systems or people they can vent to like that. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely respect her for saying that. So big ups to her for saying that. That's huge. That's really huge.
However, Dominican men do not want to acknowledge the fact that that is embedded in the culture. The fact that you are not one of those people does not mean it does not exist and it is not an issue. The fact that the majority immediately just went into insult, y'all were triggered. You guys were triggered because your ego, your persona was challenged as a Dominican man. So why are you so easily invalidated by acknowledging that there are issues? And if you are tired of hearing this narrative over and over and over again, and you just don't know where to start, let's start off having a conversation of what we can
listen. Well, she almost done. Let me just let her rock.
Do to change this narrative. Better yet, what are you as a Dominican man doing to change this narrative? Let's have this conversation. Let's open up the floor.
Yeah, I mean, listen, she didn't say anything wrong per se, man. I agree with majority of the things that she was saying. I mean, I respect it, but again, man, just to you know, just to cover it in its entirety. People hurt people in their closest proximity, people that they're in a relationship with, their family members, all those other things. Those types of things happen. You are going to be in a situation where, God forbid, this happens to you, but in a separate race, either a Caucasian or an Asian or a Black man or whatever the case may be. I'm not wishing it on you. I'm saying that there is still a chance of it still happening. For it to be an absolute zero chance of you being in that situation, you'll probably have to be single for the rest of your life, unfortunately, which I know you're not going to do, you know. But gorgeous woman, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Shout out to her, man. Shout out to her. I want y'all to comment down below. Let me know what you thought about this video, man. Thanks for watching. And until next time, please, man, be safe for her.